not just rural counties and communities across America are in trouble with these public lands issues. This affects everybody in America. The plight of our fellow citizens who use these lands, enjoy these lands, face this community that we live in many different fashions. You've heard a whole litany of troubles that are facing our communities across this state. I could add to every one. I'm familiar with every one. I will add one specific one that has to do with an issue that's been ongoing in our community. For 42 years since the Endangered Species Act was enacted, the Utah prairie dog was put on that initial listing. And in that time, there was no success in recovery or assuring that that species would no longer have a threat to extinction. In the last couple of years, the state and the county has been much more involved. And under the management and involvement, we've seen tremendous improvement in the population. Thanks to support through our congressional representative, we've met back in DC and we've illustrated these facts. Recently, in a case named PEPCO versus the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, as is in the exhibit that I handed to you, the federal court wisely ruled that the court finds that Congress has no authority to regulate takes of Utah prairie dogs on non-federal land. It goes on, although the Commerce Clause authorizes Congress to do many things, it does not authorize Congress to regulate takes of a purely intrastate species that has no substantial effect on interstate commerce. Yet at this very time, a cadre of FWS solicitors, biologists, bureaucrats, and activists who do not follow the law are breaking the law in this situation, and I'll explain. While the management cooperation and efforts have never been better as the state of Utah has taken over management and jurisdiction within the last year, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has appealed and does not respect the court's decision and continues to insert itself into regulations taking on non-federal lands. Case in point, on the Cedar City Municipal Airport, last summer a new FAA inspector found a prairie dog hole in the safety area along the runway, which he required to be addressed. For the record, I'm providing Exhibit B, which shows ownership on recorded plats of the entire airport. Every square inch is under non-federal ownership. Yet biologists push their solicitors to advise the FAA to go through them for any additional take, knowing full well that the ruling of the federal court did not grant them permission to do so. They deem themselves exempt because they have a federal nexus. Does not the law apply to federal agencies because they have an agreement between each other? They illegally issued a permit to take 30 dogs from the airport on again, these non-federal lands within a 90-day window. Permit was filled the first day. Just last week, the taxiway lights on the Delta and Charlie runways quit working, and after some troubleshooting, it was found the transformer had shorted out. It was evaluated and discovered that apparently a prairie dog had burrowed into the transformer, damaged sheathing, causing water to enter the ground and to ground the power supply. Let me see if you can see. So the agency breaks the law. What is their penalty? Do we as citizens get to issue a notice of non-compliance and suspend their permit to do business in our communities? Or are they above the law? Fundamentally, this is our issue, Congressman. We've got a double standard that's continuing to permeate into the lives and the families of our communities. You have it within your purview to defund and stop this nonsense. And you have been doing so in many fronts. And I can encourage you in every way that you can to carry this message that federal lands are not owned by everybody in this United States. That's a preposterous thought. And I have 3 more minutes, right? I'll wrap this up. Russia tried it. China's tried it. Public lands don't work. The closer we manage the lands to the people, the better. I'm just going to cut right to the chase on my final point. When when we have non-governmental organizations showing up into our communities and telling these agencies how to do business, or they're going to threaten and sue them, they hijack the system of government of the United States, representative government. That, more than everything, Congressman, is what I'm more worried about. That our nation is under attack, and we must stand and we must work together. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.